This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live, where I haven't been able to stop laughing over the plane crashing into my logo since I did it at like 4 o'clock in the morning last night. Welcome to freaking 9/11. It's a freaking Sunday. Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live, where I'm not high enough for this shit. Hope you guys enjoy the 9/11 celebration graphics. We are going to detail the history of 9/11. We're gonna do a brief overview of what happened. I found a good resource that has some embedded video from the day, and then I got some special shit for you. You want to hear what Alex Jones had to say on 9/12? I got that for you. That's gonna be fun. I got right-wingers saying all kinds of stupid shit tonight. Eric Trump talking about how Donald Trump has done more for Christianity than any other person ever. We got Doug Mastriano saying he was praying for Trump to seize power. What else? I got all kinds of dumb shit over. Because, you know, fortunately for me, right-wingers are morons. They say a lot of dumb shit. Ooh, there was supposed to be a conspiracy event in New York this weekend featuring Michael Flynn and several other high-profile QAnon idiots. It was canceled, and a guy got on the Facebook and ranted about it being canceled, and I got the video of that, and I'm sure it is hilarious. Meanwhile, in Kentucky, fans got exactly what they came out for as Kimberly Guilfoyle danced to J-Lo. Oh, Jesus. We're going to talk about The Crown already. It hasn't even been a week yet, and Charles caught on camera being a dick. Ali Velshi got into it with a commentator on MSNBC News about the Queen, and apparently made some people really uncomfortable. India calling for the return of their jewels now that the Queen has died. A woman has been arrested for holding a abolish monarchy sign in Edinburgh, where the Queen arrived today. I believe her casket arrived in Edinburgh today. Up in Canada, the Conservatives have picked a new leader. He's a far-right nut job who was a fucking shit. I didn't check to make sure that it was the right monitor. Sorry, guys. There's your meme. There's your meme of the day. 9/11 jokes aren't funny. They are just plain wrong, and I always love a meme with a grammatical error in it. Shit. But yeah, I've got a lot of 9/11 fun. We got a lot of Queen fun. Not showing menu. Oh, yeah, the menu. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. You know, all day I had that on my mind. Did not forget to put that in my notes. Totally forgot to put that in my notes. Justin takes a shot. Fuck, I don't even know if we've got alcohol in here. Warlord Redeemed Justin takes a shot. No, dude, I can't fucking take a shot tonight. That is not possible. I've got so much work to do after I get off of here. Star Craving. Oh my God. Mox. Warlord, I did drink on 9/11. I did drink on 9/11. I had a White Claw last night while watching My Son Hunter with Egoplex Media. My Son Hunter was rough? Nah. Monica, good evening, welcome. No, My Son Hunter was fun. I thought the actors did a really good job with it. What the fuck are you doing? Like, oh no, you're coming in here like with songs and shit. You're gonna get me copyright. Don't do that. Oh, Sky Comic, good evening. You think you have no clue what you're talking about, Stark Raving. If it has views on the internet, it is copyrighted. There are companies that just go around like buying the copyright to videos, sending TOS material to me and everything. I work hard putting together a rundown for this show, and then people want to come in here and be like, play this video, play this video. I'm sorry, Stark Raving. I don't mean to pick on you. Oh, yeah. Big Mo, welcome. Thank you for being a freaking follower. Biden in the Cape, I still don't understand. For those of you who didn't join us over on Echoplex last night, there was just a scene, and it had this bird's eye view, and they didn't change the camera. This bothers me as a filmmaker. They didn't change the camera for at least 4 or 5 minutes. Just one static shot that was a bird's eye view. And Biden walks in, they're doing some kind of a business deal. I believe it's while he was vice president. But the timeline just kept jumping around over and over and over again. I had no clue when they were in the timeline during the movie. I think Joe was vice president at this time, and they're having some meeting with a Chinese guy that was funneling Ukrainian money. And Joe just shows up and he has a cape on. There was another time that he accused Hunter of sabotaging his erection. Now he meant election, but he said erection, and then the sound effect went boing, 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 boing. Yeah, it was a cape on top of his suit, like he wasn't in like some kind of Superman outfit. Like he just popped in. Like, I don't know if that was meant to be some sort of daydream. Like it wasn't blurry around the edges to signify that it was a daydream. But also the movie suffered from like every different scene was done by a different director with a different style. So like I just assumed like, oh, we've got 22 scenes in this movie. We're going to get 22 directors and we're going to get this done in like a fucking week and we're going to get it out. That's the only thing I can come up with, because there was no cohesive story to it. There was no continuity to the movie. However, I thought it was fun. I thought it was better than The Room. If you're looking for a movie that was so bad it's good, My Son Hunter, better than The Room. Not high enough for this shit. Yes, I'm saying My Son Hunter, better than The Room. I didn't like The Room, I'm sorry. I didn't get it. I didn't get The Room. I really didn't. I've not watched the Dragon Show. I've not watched Game of Thrones. I'm gonna say that I don't watch a lot of TV yet. You know, people start talking about some TV shows and then I'll nerd out. Exactly, Ida. I said that as I was reading it for the people listening to the podcast. I'm like, you gotta love a meme with a good misspelling in it. Hot D. Yeah, Warlord, who is like my main fucking mod in here, leaves me on Sunday night to watch the Hot D, apparently. Wiener, 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 wiener. One wiener next to another. See, I say I don't watch TV. And then I start singing a song from South Park. I've been seeing the Black Elf thing. I've been seeing the people like, I don't want fucking Lord of the Rings, know nothing about it. Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, know nothing about any of that stuff. But I've seen that the races have been throwing a shit fit. Apparently Elon Musk is upset about it. George R. Martin calls it the Hot D. I don't know if I've said hi to everybody. Ida, if I said hi to your lovely face. I hope I have. If not, I love you, love your face. I have not said hey to Voodoo. What's up, Voodoo? Making sure I got everybody, but a lot of people came in on me. If you didn't see the countdown, I highly recommend going back and checking out the video on demand. I showed the countdown to 3 different people, and they all laughed their asses off. Yes, Monica, I'm with you. I'm aware of what's going on. Have I written down what we're going to talk about? I dropped bot in my lap. I already ran down what I'm going to talk about, right? There's a hair in my bowl. Nothing's going right for me today. I bent my Wookiee. Oh, God. We'll be playing Mortal Kombat. Me and my best friend. And he'll be beating my ass. I'm like, nothing's coming up, Millhouse. I love Simpsons references, in case you guys haven't been able to tell. From the Andrew Yang talking about the Ford Party. I reference Kang and Kodos. To the Texas school district shutting down the Arabic letter "In God We Trust" because they only have to have one sign. They employed the no homers rule. It says no homers. Plural. They can have one. Let's start off tonight. It is the anniversary of 9/11. Let's go over what happened. We're going to go to the Miller Center. Fucking shit. I don't even have a browser up yet. I was ill prepared for tonight's show. Other than the fact that I did, a countdown in which my logo gets hit by a plane. I did prepare in that sense. On September 11th, 2001, 2,977 people were killed in the deadliest terror attacks in American history. You can see the flat paths of the hijacked planes here. We're gonna see some embedded video as we scroll through here. This is the timeline of what happened. 5:45 a.m. Mohammed Atta and Abdul Aziz Al-Omari, two of the intended hijackers, passed through security at the Portland International Jetport in Maine. They board a commuter flight to Boston Logan International Airport. They then board American Airlines Flight 11. 7:59 a.m., Flight 11 takes off from Boston, headed towards Los Angeles, California. There are 76 passengers, 5 hijackers on board. At 8:15 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 takes off from Boston. Also headed to LA, there are 51 passengers and 5 hijackers. 8:19 a.m., a flight attendant on Flight 11, Betty Ann Ong, alerts ground personnel that a hijacking is underway and that the cockpit is unreachable. 8:20, American Airlines Flight 77 takes off from Dulles outside of Washington, D.C., headed for Los Angeles. There are 53 passengers, 5 hijackers on board. At 8:24 a.m., Mohammed Atta, a hijacker on Flight 11, unintentionally alerts air controllers in Boston to the attack. He meant to press the button that allowed him to talk to the passengers on his flight.
Is that American 11 trying to call?
Buddy, we have some planes. Just stay quiet and you'll be okay. We're heading to the airport.
And who's trying to call me here? American 11, are you trying to call?
Nobody move. Everything will be okay. If you try to make any move.
So he realizes that he contacted air traffic control and then says everything is okay. So let's go back. This is Mohammed Atta accidentally calling the air traffic controllers instead of talking to the planes on the internal speaker.
Call.
Buddy, we have some planes. Just stay quiet and you'll be okay. We're heading to the airport.
And who's trying to call me here? American 11, are you trying to call?
Nobody move. Everything will be okay. If you try to make any move, you'll injure yourself and the airplane. Let's stay quiet. That's good. I see you were referencing for the move.
The classic hijacker butt dial. Oh God, voodoo. I mean, knowing what we know now, yeah, why wouldn't you shoot the planes down? But also, like, I believe there was we might get clarity on that here as we go through the materials. I believe they attempted to shoot the planes down and didn't know whether it was a drill or real life. Like, that audio exists of someone saying, like, is this a drill? Or, like, is this real? What's going on? 8:37 a.m. after hearing the broadcast from Atta on Flight 11, Boston Air Traffic Control alerts the U.S. Air Force Northeast Defense Sector, who then mobilized the Air National Guard to follow the plane. At 8:42 a.m., United Flight 93 takes off from Newark, New Jersey, after a delay due to routine traffic. It was headed for San Francisco. There are 33 passengers and 4 hijackers on board. At 8:46 a.m., Flight 11 crashes into the World Trade Center's North Tower. All passengers aboard are instantly killed, and employees of the World Trade Center are trapped above the 91st floor. At 9:03 a.m., Flight 175 crashes into World Trade Center's South Tower. All passengers aboard are killed instantly, and so are an unknown number of people in the tower. Here is of course you guys know this, content warning. This is bystander video. You can see the North Tower has already been hit, and I do believe we're getting ready to see the South Tower get hit live. I'm sorry, Star Craving. I struggle with the fact that I'm, a comedian doing a show with a troll head, and also I want to inform people. And that I want to do a substantive news show. Balancing those two things together is kind of hard. I also find it funny, like, the clips that I clip for YouTube are more on the jovial side, making jokey jokes about dumb fuck right-wingers. But then, like, you tune into the show, and the vast majority of it is me just hitting you with
Les terroristes voulaient faire
like
une attaque.
shitty ass news. Merkin, good evening.
Ce matin, quand j'étais sur le bord de l'eau, je pensais justement je veux dire, quelqu'un qui voulait faire un attentat, la Statue de la Liberté serait un symbole, tu sais, à détruire. Mais là,
I'm preparing you. I believe we're getting ready to see the South Tower get hit in this video. We're probably going to see them react.
c'est curieux quand même, là, tout à coup, enfin, ça a l'air d'un attentat, on ne sait pas, mais
Yeah, see, World Trade Center 2 plane impact and immediate aftermath. So this is
c'est vraiment un état.
as up close and personal as you can get with this shit. Still haven't made Saudi Arabia take responsibility. And we never will. We couldn't watch it in my school because we didn't have access to any kind of outside television source. Like, we had TVs in all of our classrooms, but we were not like, there wasn't even an antenna. There wasn't a way to watch local news.
Qu'est-ce que tu peux brûler? Je veux dire, c'est du béton, du verre.
We were actually listening to the radio station that I worked for at the time. This was my senior year of high school, so we were listening to the radio station I worked for, and I wanted to leave the school and go to the radio station. Like, I didn't want to be there. So my first class of the day was a broadcasting class. We did a morning news show, and I was one of the hosts, producers, blah, blah. I did fucking everything, you know, whatever position. And my second class was speech and drama or theater or whatever that class was. I get to that classroom, it's like 9:15 or whatever, maybe 8:55. Well, I can't remember how the days are broke up. And that's the teacher informs us that one tower has been hit. And I remember thinking, my first thought was, like, oh, it's just, you know, an accident. A plane has accidentally hit a tower. And then, you know, uh-oh. That fucking wild. Fucking wild. So here we go. We're going to go back about 30 seconds here. This is the impact of the second plane. The onlookers, they're probably thinking the same thing I was thinking as a high schooler. That it was an accident, that a plane has just accidentally hit the World Trade Center. But when you see the second plane hit, when you hear a second plane hit, you go, well, that's no accident. And I mean, they're right there. They're just a few blocks away.
Où ça? Ah ouais. Sac. As-tu vu ça? On rêve-tu ou quoi?
I'm amazed their reaction was that fucking calm. I mean, I'm not good with spatial distance or something. Like, they're within like 10 blocks of the World Trade Center. That could be it too. They could just be in like complete fucking shock as to what they just witnessed. I would be.
No, no accident.
That was no accident. That's I'm pretty sure that was everybody's thought. One plane hits, it's an accident. you know, something's gone haywire with navigation or something. 2 planes. It's an attack. I had one teacher that made us do work, and that was my, I don't remember if it was geometry or it was probably like some kind of advanced class, like calculus or something, because I was a senior.
Ça tombe pas.
I don't remember exactly which class it was. Oh, we're gonna talk about that, Mergen. Don't worry. It is probably right around this time that Bush is being told. Because it's after the second plane hits.
Ben écoute, c'est quelque chose.
So it is probably within 2 or 3 minutes of us seeing the second plane hit. That famous video of a guy leaning in and telling Bush about the attack. Because that's what he's being told. He's being told about the second tower. Like, he was aware of the first tower being hit before he did the appearance.
Mais où? À gauche, à droite? Non, mais...
Just disbelief.
Mais ils sont partis d'en haut, quoi? Comment tu sais pour savoir que c'est des gens?
Tu le vois, c'est comme ça qu'ils font. La tête, les bras, les jambes. Ça descend un petit peu plus vite que les feuilles de papier.
That is the aftermath of the second plane hitting. Okay, that was 9:03. Flight 175 crashes into the World Trade Center South Tower. 9:05. President George W. Bush in an elementary school classroom in Florida is informed about the hit on the second tower. So they're like, you see him reading My Pet Goat. That's the famous picture. This isn't the famous picture, but you know the picture I'm talking about. Chief of Staff Andrew Card whispers the chilling news into the president's ear. Bush later wrote about his response. I made the decision not to jump up immediately and leave the classroom. I didn't want to rattle the kids. I wanted to project a sense of calm. I had been in enough crises to know that the first thing the leader has to do is to project calm. I agree with him. I agree with him on that, and I'm not going to hold, like, who the fuck can say how you're going to react to news? Like, processing that kind of news is incredibly difficult. So I don't want to hold it against him, but I feel like the right thing to do would have been like, hey kids, I've got some presidential business to do. I need to leave you guys now. Have a great day. And get up right then and there. Because it's like 7 minutes he sits there, if I'm not mistaken. It was 15 minutes. But once again, this is like fucking processing that. My God, like it's hard. There are enough reasons to hate Bush and to criticize him about that you don't have to criticize him of like sitting there and fucking understanding like the nation's under attack and trying to take that in the middle of a photo op. So that of all the things to criticize him about, that one is not one that I really want to focus on. 9:28 a.m. hijackers attack on Flight 93. 9:37 a.m. Flight 77 crashes into the Pentagon. All passengers aboard are instantly killed, and so are 125 civilian and military personnel in the building. 9:45 a.m., U.S. airspace is shut down under Operation Yellow Ribbon. All civilian aircraft are ordered to land at the nearest airport. 9:55 a.m., Air Force One with President George W. Bush aboard takes off from Florida. 9:57, passengers aboard Flight 93 begin to run up toward the cockpit. Jara, the pilot, begins to roll the plane back and forth in an attempt to destabilize the revolt. 9:59 a.m., the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapses. You're seeing still photos of it. 10:02 a.m., Flight 93 plows into an empty field in Shanksville. Although its ultimate target is unknown, it was likely headed for either the White House or the U.S. Capitol. 10:18 a.m., President Bush authorizes any non-grounded planes to be shot down. At that time, all 4 hijacked planes had already crashed, but the president's team was operating under the impression that Flight 93 was still in the air. 10:18 authorizes any non-grounded planes to be shot down. 10:28 a.m., the North Tower of the World Trade Center collapses. 10:53 a.m., the Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld, orders the U.S. military to move to a higher state of alert, going to DEFCON 3. Now, this morning, I saw somebody bring up the Pentagon on September 10th came out and held a press conference that they had lost trillions of dollars. To use that as evidence that something nefarious happened on 9/11 is a complete misnomer, because the Pentagon has held that press conference at least 7 times in my lifetime. So the Pentagon coming out and saying they lost trillions of dollars is not like something that doesn't happen often. So I just like that you got to have more conviction. Look, what can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. Not what I thought my shirt said, actually. I thought it said something else. 11:45 a.m., Air Force One lands at Bakersdale Air Force Base near Shreveport, Louisiana. At 12:15, airspace in the United States is completely free of all commercial and private flights. At 1:30, Air Force One leaves Barksdale. I'm sorry, I called it Bakersdale. At 2:30, Rudy Giuliani, the mayor of New York City, visits the fallen twin towers of the World Trade Center at what becomes known as Ground Zero. At 3 o'clock, Air Force One lands at Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska, and President Bush is immediately taken to a secure bunker that is capable of withstanding a nuclear attack. At 4:30 p.m., Air Force One leaves Offutt and heads back towards Andrews Air Force Base near D.C. At 5:30, Building 7 of the World Trade Center collapses. Now, a lot of people want to point to this as no plane hit this building, and I did. That's one of the things that I need to bring up, is that I used to be a 9/11 truther. I thought it was an inside job. The reason why World Trade Center 7 collapsed was because it was pelted by debris from the other 2 buildings and was on fire for most of the day. 5:30 p.m. it collapsed after being on fire for most of the day and pelted with debris. At 8:30, President Bush addresses the nation. Although to many Americans 9/11 seemed like a random act of terror, the roots of the event had been developing for years. A combination of factors that coalesced in the late 1990s led to the catastrophic event. These factors included regional conditions in the Middle East that motivated the perpetrators, as well as intelligence lapses and failures that left the United States vulnerable. Osama bin Laden was relatively unknown in the United States before 9/11. Ooh, that's kind of not true. That's totally not true. That's oof. Not only is that not true, Miller Center, this piece has been good up until this point, but Miller Center, you dropped the ball here because not only was bin Laden known to the United States, Bush had received an intelligence briefing within a month of 9/11 that bin Laden was determined to attack in the United States using planes. Even as he was a massive... Oh, okay. I misread that. I misread that. It says Osama bin Laden was relatively unknown in the United States. Not to the United States. I read it as to the United States. The United States intelligence community knew exactly who Osama bin Laden was because they had the receipts from arming him and training him. Even as he was amassing popularity, followers, and fame in the Middle East during the 1990s and 1988, he was one of the founders of Al-Qaeda, a militant Islamic terrorist organization that organized and carried out the 9/11 attacks. Bin Laden called for indiscriminate killings of all Americans who, he claimed, were the worst thieves in the world today. It was the perfect historical moment for that rallying cry. Now, one of the things that he was upset about was U.S. military bases being on what they called Holy Land. So, U.S. propaganda might leave that fact out. Throughout the 20th century, a wave of secular nationalist revolutions swept through the Middle East, taking root in Egypt, Libya, Iraq, Yemen, and other countries. While these movements were awash in promising ideology, the new regimes quickly became autocratic and suppressed dissent. Their critics turned to violent revolution to express their dissatisfaction with these secular governments. At the same time, social malaise, especially among young men who were struggling to find decent jobs and start their own families in corrupt oil states, provided easy targets for radicalization. Bin Laden's message that America was the head of the snake and the root of all society's problems resonated well with the discontent. By the mid-1990s, bin Laden was the head of Al-Qaeda, a multifaceted and highly developed terrorist network carrying out attack after attack on Americans in the Middle East. It was a new type of terrorism to which the U.S. intelligence agencies struggled to adapt. Much of the intelligence community had not even imagined the specific type of hijacking and terrorism carried out on 9/11. True, not true. They knew about the plan to use airplanes. Were they completely disorganized? Sure. Did they know about the plan to use airplanes? Yes. They were preparing for threats such as the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center and the bombing in 2000 of the USS Cole. Much of the intelligence community's focus was on reactive law enforcement activity rather than proactive countering of terrorism. A telling quote from the 9/11 Commission report focuses on the lack of a proactive response. The process was meant by its nature to mark for the public as the events finished, case solved, justice done. It was not designed to ask if the events might be harbingers of worse to come, nor did it allow for aggregating and analyzing facts to see if they could provide clues to terrorist tactics more generally, methods of entry and finance, and mode of operation inside the United States. Bin Laden had amassed substantial power due to conditions in the Middle East, as well as his charismatic leadership and being part of the Saudi royal family. The U.S. intelligence community was underprepared for a 9/11-style attack. In the aftermath of 9/11, these two factors continue to affect U.S. policy in the Middle East, particularly in Iraq. So the only thing I'm leaving off is like the invasion of Iraq here in this piece. But if you guys want to read this, it doesn't exactly go into everything. But it was a pretty good overview of the events of that day. And that footage was excellent. Now, would you like to hear what Alex Jones had to say on September 12th? This should be interesting, right?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry. I did not introduce this correctly. This is Alex Jones on July 25th, 2001. This is Alex Jones 2 months before 9/11. Now, why am I bringing this up? 9/11 was the event that catapulted Alex Jones into national cult status, I do believe. 9/11 is the reason why I know who Alex Jones is, or knew who Alex Jones was in the 2000s. 9/11 was the reason why Alex Jones is who he is today. And it's because he said something 2 months before 9/11 that kind of makes it sound like he predicted 9/11.
You could join us today for this Wednesday, July 25th, 2001 broadcast. Tyranny is enveloping the globe, and the United States is a shining jewel the globalists want to bring down, and they will use terrorism as the pretext to get it done. So that's coming up in the second half of the show. Very important information. I'm going to put the call out that you call the White House and tell them, look, we've seen the news stories that you've wanted to blow things up, that you have blown things up, and that you're saying that 4 million of us are going to die and we need martial law and the Associated Press at one of your little drills you had, and that we're aware of who the terrorists are if you pull this. This can stop this Hitlerian Reichstag event. I want to put the toll-free number up for Congress. And I won't want you to believe Alex Jones. I want you to go get these news stories off my website. I want you to call these major newspapers. I want you to find out these statements were true by the White House about preparing for martial law.
He looks so young, doesn't he?
Let them know that if there is any terrorism, we know who to blame. The point is, if any terrorism comes, it's from this government.
Alex Jones is predicting 50 of the last 0 false flags.
CIA asset in the 80s running the Mujahideen war, and whose family builds all the military bases over in Saudi Arabia right now and sits on the board of Iridium Satellite. He's the boogeyman they need in this Orwellian phony system.
Damn. Now he's kind of got me going now. He called it on the Saudis, too. Oof.
I want the White House numbers up there now. A big part of this solution, after you research all the government terrorism and check out what I'm saying is true, call the White House and tell them, we know the government's planning terrorism. We know Oklahoma City and World Trade Center was terrorism. We know the Joint Chiefs of Staff wanted to blow up airliners, Baltimore Sun. If you do it, we're going to blame you because we know who's up to it. Or if you let some terrorist group do it, like the World Trade Center, we know who to blame. And you could save the planet. I'm calling it Operation Expose the Government Terror.
Damn. Let's see how he runs with it on the day after. Oh, fucking shit. Again? This has been happening to me. Yet I come over here and there's the tweet. What the hell? How is that possible? I don't get it. Here is Alex Jones on September 12th.
Israel calls the Palestinians goyim or cattle or dogs or subhuman. They keep them on concentration camps. I got video of them taking Palestinian women's tomatoes they grow and breaking their water containers and stealing. That's why you have this crap. And our children are going to die. We're going to get nuked because of this. Iran.
Wait a minute. He was correctly calling out the Saudis 2 months before 9/11, and then all of a sudden it's the Jews did it after it happens? What the fuck? But he's, based that he's calling out the Israeli apartheid state, but he's also blaming Israel for something they didn't do in this case.
Israel calls the Palestinians goyim or cattle or dogs or subhuman. They keep them on concentration camps. I got video of them taking Palestinian women's tomatoes they grow and breaking their water containers and stealing. That's why you have this crap. And our children are going to die. We're going to get nuked because of this. Iran's got the nukes now. Syria. We're going to have nuclear war because Israel likes to go around bombing everybody. I'm sorry.
Wait. Syria is not a nuclear power, and neither is Iran. Just want to make that clear. Syria's not nuclear power, neither is Iran.
Just the facts.
But just the facts.
And Israel absolutely is beside itself with joy right now. They are talking about how they're going to blow everything up, how they're going to attack everybody, and guess who's going to get...
Well, that's something. This is an article from a few years ago, but I thought it was apropos of today. When researchers trolled conspiracy theorists with random false info, they bought it every time. According to a February 2015 study, conspiracy theorists are so gullible, they completely lack the ability to know when they're being purposefully duped. Looking at the social media habits of people who subscribe to conspiracy theories regarding chemtrails, 9/11 trutherism, reptilians, and the Illuminati, and boy, dead state, wait till you see what's coming in the next decade. Holy shit. A team of Italian and American researchers found that these people rarely engage with social media pages that challenge their views, therefore encapsulating themselves in a self-affirming bubble of misinformation. Social media, primarily Facebook, proved to be the flashpoint of this phenomenon. Now, I want to say this is from September 11th of 2016. Okay, we're getting into the heart. I thought it was from 2015. So I thought this was eerily prescient of what was getting ready to happen. They're examining the social media habits of 1.2 million Facebook users. The researchers found that almost 92% of those who engage with Italian conspiracy theory pages get their information primarily from these pages, with almost zero counterbalance from more mainstream fact-based sources. The study also found that posts from conspiracy pages get unusually high engagement rates on Facebook in the form of likes and shares. The researchers then tested the strength of the conspiracy theorists' biases by posting troll information, sarcastic comments, parodying anti-science views on Facebook. The farcical posts the researchers used were blatantly obvious, like the undisclosed news that infinite energy has been finally discovered, or that a new lamp made of acinides, plutonium and uranium, might solve problems of energy gathering with less impact on the environment, or that chemical analysis has revealed that chemtrails contain sildenafil citratium, the active ingredient of Viagra. A whopping 78%, and I fucked those words up, a whopping 78% of those who liked the 4,709 troll posts were people who were regular followers of conspiracy Facebook pages and outlets. Additionally, 81% of those who commented on the troll posts had similar social media habits. Once again, I was a 9/11 truther. It wasn't until I went back to college, had to take a class on practical reasoning and apply practical reasoning to my conspiracy theories that I dumped my 9/11 trutherism. Let's talk about some 9/11 conspiracy theories. Here's a nice little neat video that's going to knock down a few of the most common ones.
Just in, you were looking at obviously a very disturbing
She even knew my name. She said, Justin. This is from the Joe channel on YouTube.
This just in, you were looking at obviously a very live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
As we're sure you already know, some interesting theories exist around what happened on September 11th, 2001. So here are the 5 most common conspiracy theories.
He's a British guy, so you know you can trust him. Those bean eaters are honest.
Number 1. Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
It's a freaking noodle. Your argument is invalid. Get over it. Find a job.
This is the most common conspiracy theory. So much so that it's essentially become a meme these days. And like a lot of memes, it's nonsense. No. Jet fuel cannot melt steel beams. Jet fuel burns up to 1500 degrees Fahrenheit, while steel melts at around 2500 degrees. However, steel does begin to lose strength at around 600 degrees Fahrenheit, and with the weight above the impact point on the North Tower similar to that of the Titanic, the weakened steel simply could not hold, and the tower collapsed. Number 2. Controlled explosions. When the towers collapsed, many commented that the destruction looked similar to that of a controlled demolition. This added fuel to many conspiracy theories. However, modelling has proven this inaccurate.
Added jet fuel to many conspiracy theories.
Dr. Frank Greening showed that with the way the fuel spread on impact, and with the weight transfer from the building above the impact site, the building would indeed fall almost entirely vertically. Number 3. The World Trade Center 7 collapse was an inside job. Alongside the North and South Tower, WTC-7 was also destroyed on 9/11. It took around 7 hours for the building to collapse. However, the National Institute of Standards and Technology has supported the theory that WTC-7 was more damaged by falling debris than previously estimated. WTC-7 may have withstood the debris or the fire, but both factors, combined with the unusual design, brought down the...
So you can see, we go back here,
was more damaged by falling debris than previously estimated. WTC-7...
That is the debris that fell on top of that building, which is over here somewhere.
May have withstood the debris,
maybe over here,
or the fire.
A little more to the
both
left.
Factors, combined with the unusual design, brought down the building. Number 4. The Pentagon was hit by a missile. Despite dozens of witnesses who watched a plane fly into the side of the Pentagon, many conspiracy theorists believe it was instead a missile that caused the damage. When the plane hit the Pentagon's exterior wall, it created a hole approximately 75 feet wide. So why wasn't the hole 125 feet wide, the same as the plane's wingspan? The answer is actually pretty simple. One wing hit the ground on approach, and the second was sheared off by the force of the impact, leaving just the fuselage to cause damage. Number 5. Flight United 93 was shot down.
I'm on a plane that's been hijacked. I'm on the plane. I'm calling from the plane. I want to tell you I love you. Please tell my children that I love them very much. And I'm so sorry, babe. I don't know what to say. I hope to be able to see your face again, baby. I love you.
The fourth and final plane to be hijacked was believed to be targeting Washington, D.C. Instead, it crashed into a field in Pennsylvania. After the plane was hijacked, the crew and passengers staged a revolt, either forcing the plane into the ground themselves or forcing the hijackers to do so. But some believe the flight was instead shot down by the US military. This conspiracy theory is actually born...
Why wouldn't they tell us if they shot it down?
The order was apparently given by Vice President Dick Cheney for the plane to be shot down. However, the scrambled jets never made it in time. And we know the plane wasn't shot down because the scrambled jets weren't armed, and instead actually planned to ram the plane. But before they got the chance to do so, the passengers took matters into their own hands. I think an act of heroism just took place on that plane, Cheney said. There are many more 9/11 conspiracy theories out there, all of which are completely ridiculous and easily
Yep.
But after 20 years,
Clowns.
It's unlikely that some people will ever accept the truth.
That was the Joe YouTube channel. Go check him out. Also, I really like Miles Power. He does a really good job of debunking 9/11. I was gonna pick one of his videos, but they were like 15 minutes long, and this one was like concise. Like his was like 15 minutes on each different subject. But if you want and he's got the whole thing up as like an hour and a half long documentary, go watch that. It is fantastic. But enough about the history of 9/11. Let's talk about what it is today. Survivors looking back,
marks the
21 years.
Anniversary of the September 11th terror attacks on New York and Washington. Roberta Chrissy was working as a lieutenant colonel, working for the deputy chief of staff in the Pentagon when the plane hit. She says she thought it was a bomb at first, and then it looked like a battle zone. She is now the chief of the military personnel division in the U.S. Army, and she joins me live for more on what she remembers from that day. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, you say you thought a bomb went off. When did you fully realize what was happening?
I don't think I fully realized what was happening until they evacuated us from our office at the Pentagon. I was in the Army G1 at the time, and we evacuated across the street, across I-395.
That poor woman's webcam.
It was actually a plane that had hit the Pentagon.
So when you look back 21 years ago to that day, what stands out most to you?
Well, I think what stands out most to me is the heroic service that so many people had on that day, as far as evacuating the people out of the.
I have not worked in television since pre-pandemic. Back in the day, they would have sent her to whatever, like if they're in DC, if like they're filming this in DC, or if they're in New York, I don't know where ABC studios are, probably in New York. If she's in DC, like they would have sent her to like a local affiliate station, and she would have done the interview from there, at a TV station, with the ability to make you look good, not like, her webcam. An iPhone would have done a better job. Like, ma'am, is your laptop 20 years old? You just appeared in front of a national audience. Like, oof. And I hate to harp on the way she looks on television, but like, for those watching the podcast, like, she had a nice picture as a background, and then her face was just like a blob. Completely out of focus, completely. But just like it, I don't know. Media Winch, good evening. Not only do Echoplex and the Justin Freakin Twitch channel have better audio than CBS and ABC, we've got better video than CBS and ABC.
Where the plane hit. And to remember those that passed on that day. I had several coworkers, friends that were impacted that day. They were killed. And it's just, I think, important to remember
Andy, good evening.
Individuals that gave their lives that day. To them, it was just a normal day in the office, and didn't realize it was going to be really a combat zone there at the Pentagon.
Certainly did look like a combat zone there and here in Lower Manhattan as well at the site of the Trade Center. What do you want people to remember when they think about that day?
I'm not blaming her. I'm blaming ABC News for not setting her up with the proper equipment.
That gave their lives that day. I think it's important to remember those families that every year have to suffer through that event again because they lost their loved ones. I know I got home that night and I had phone calls from family members asking where their spouses were. And, at that point in time, I could only give them hope.
Because I can tell you, if she is chief of the Army Corps of Engineers, I don't know what division it was, but she was the personnel division, the chief of the military personnel division of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. This is a badass woman here.
And, at that point in time, I could only give them hope that their family members were in the hospital or something like that. But every year they have to face this, and it's been 21 years, but it is important, even though this event is overshadowed by the Queen this year, to remember that there are family members that are.
Who gives a shit about the Queen? Though that's our next story.
So true, and we must always remember.
The Queen is indeed our next story, though. You know me, I've got a different angle on it than most people. Who gives a shit about the Queen?
I'm honored.
This was Joe Biden earlier today talking about 9/11, whatever memorial he was attending. But I do want to go back to, like, we're very anti-imperialist and pretty anti-military here on this show, but the Army Corps of Engineers actually does a really fucking badass job, and they're the ones that will come and they'll build dams in your community. They'll do assessments on like fucking flooding and shit for you. They are amazing.
Honored to be here with you once more to share this solemn rite of remembrance and reflect on all that was lost.
Are you talking about Olindo or Olindo? God damn it!
September
Which 9/11? There's so many things that happened on 9/11.
And all that we found on ourselves.
Or are you talking about Benghazi?
Respond.
Biden paying tribute on 9/11.
I hope we'll remember that in the midst of these dark days, we dug deep, we cared for each other, and we came together. To me, that's the greatest lesson of September 11th.
It's what Mark, there's so many things that have happened on September 11th. Are you making a joke, mocking the right-wingers being upset about Benghazi? Are you talking about the coup that we helped facilitate in South America? Like, there could be so many things. Benghazi was indeed 9/11. Benghazi was on 9/11. So much shit to cover. And when we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to cover King Charles being a dick. What's going to happen with the Queen's crown? India wants its jewels back. Apparently, Ali Velshi made things really uncomfortable on MSNBC while they were talking about the Queen. A woman in Edinburgh was arrested for holding an abolish monarchy sign. We're going to talk about the Canadian Conservatives picking their new leader. We're going to talk about the right wing in Sweden, which looks poised to win in their election. We're going to talk about William Ruto, who we assume is going to be the president of Kenya. And apparently Putin is running out of steam in Ukraine. We've heard this before. Meanwhile, Zelensky will be appearing at a defense contractor conference. I'm going to play you some right-wingers saying some batshit crazy things, including Kim Guilfoyle dancing to Jennifer Lopez. Waiting for tonight. Whoa. No, that is not the song, actually. That is not the song. But probably so I don't get a copyright claim, I'm going to sing the song for you. You're going to hear me sing J-Lo on the other side of the break here on the Troll Patrol live. Hi, I'm Justin FREAKIN. I'm a leftist broadcaster and comedian, not liberal, leftist. And despite what you may have heard from right-wing propaganda, George Soros isn't handing out Soros bucks and funding people like me. There are no Koch brothers, Mercers, or any number of right-wing think tanks funding content on the left side of the spectrum the way they fund people like Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, and Dennis Prager. And YouTube doesn't monetize videos that are controversial or deal with politics unless you're someone like Steven Crowder. So this is an ultimatum. Become a patron. Support my Patreon, or I'm going to become a right-winger and get some of that easy money. You know for a fact that I could be bigger than Charlie Kirk or Jesse Lee Peterson.
Amazing!
All I have to do is talk about how I used to be an SJW snowflake, but the left went too far with their cultural Marxism, and Republicans are stupid enough to buy it, even though this video exists. And you know I'm right, so give me your money or I'm selling you out.
We live in turbulent times. The media is full of deception, conspiracy theories, and fake news. Now, more than ever, it is important to ensure you're getting information from a source that's freaking reliable.
I'm Justin Mullins, and this is the Freakin' News.
Get a breaking or interesting story with a humorous twist in about a minute weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, and more.
So Nightbot got it, and Stream Elements didn't. One of the bots got it. How many bots we got crawling around over here? According to Elon Musk, we're 80% bots. Yo, Al-Qaeda, I'm gonna let you finish. But the War of 1812 was the best attack on U.S. soil of all time. This is actually from 9/11 was on a Friday last year, so Sparkles and I had a whole bit where we graded 9/11 memes. That's where I've been pulling 9/11 memes from. But we done with 9/11 other than the fact that the graphics have Osama bin Laden's head under the troll hair. If you're listening to this on the podcast, do come check out my graphics. Watch the opening video. God damn. If you guys weren't here for the opening video, let me play it for you again, because it's hilarious. Not the whole video, clearly. We're gonna scrub ahead here. We'll get you to the good shit.
This is the Troll Patrol. Live.
I cracked myself up.
With Justin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. What are we talking about today? We're going to talk about the Queen's Crown. Oh, Lord. Back to our Kanye meme. Maybe I need to make a second opening. An opening for coming back from the commercial break. I tried to make little stingers for coming in and out of commercial breaks, but they don't work right. I have to like embed them in the commercials. There's a whole thing with like OBS didn't want to like do a playlist. It was a whole thing. I'm out of pot. In this bowl, I'm not out of pot. I got pot. Curiouser actually gave me different shit. Some different shit. She's like, here, try some of this. Like, I still got a whole bunch of the same shit I've been smoking. She's like, this is some different shit. Just switch it up a little bit. Different shit. Oh, I got a pot. I just cashed out that bonk. I'm not high enough for this shit. Everybody should have their commercial breaks out of the way. I've been trying to do that and catch the Twitch stream commercials like at one certain time so nobody has to put up with them at any other time. Or you could just subscribe and not have commercials, you know? But I don't encourage anybody to spend money on me. I've had dabs before. First times I ever had dabs was I was filming I did this documentary in college and it was a group thing, but like, you know. I was the one that came up with the title of the documentary. It was about a female dirt biker, and she was like in competition, everything. And I called it Dirty Girl. Because of course I did. Of course, even something that innocent is gonna be a sexual innuendo. I am planning on changing up the Freak Show. I'm gonna try to make it snazzier. I think I got an idea for making the Freak Show logo snazzier. Just say if you maybe you want to hold off on a Freak Show shirt. I think I've got it, but who knows when I get around to it? That could be like 2 years from now. I get around to it because I am lazy. But I'm filming this documentary of this girl dirt bike rider. And like I'm only having to go out and run camera like when she's doing her heats or sprints or whatever the fuck it's called. So I had like big chunks of downtime when I didn't have to like do anything, and I'm just hanging out in the parking lot, and there's this like team of riders from Colorado, and I was like, somehow I ended up, you know, over there. I'm very friendly, guys. If you know, some people are introverts, but they get on camera and they can do this kind of shit. But like, I'm friendly. Like, I talk to people. You will find me in crowds of people talking to people. So I'm talking to these guys from Colorado, and they're talking about all these like different kinds of dabs, and they got like different lids off of their water bottles that they had in their car, and they gave me water bottle lids full of each different kind of dab. They told me what each one was. They're like, you gotta try this shit out, dude. You're gonna love it. And I did. Like, it was really good. Like, I didn't have a dab rig or anything, but I would just take I'd take my, shitty ass weed, put some dabs on top of it and smoke it that way. At the time, I don't think I was smoking, because this would have been like the early 2010s. I don't think we had quite gotten to where it was always loud pot everywhere all the time. Nobody does coming across reg now as a pot smoker is very, very rare. And like brick weed, I haven't seen that shit fucking years. So that used to be the common thing 20 years ago, right? So we're still in this like period where like the weed is getting better and shit, but it's not everybody smoking the kill all the fucking time, right? So I probably had, somewhat reg weed at the time. So I think I was I had places I could get good shit, and I had places I could get, like reg weed. And I was a poor college student. Bad badges you grow. Exactly, Mox. It's hard to even come by this shit anymore. But it's good for shit like if you don't have a dab rig or something, putting it on some pot that isn't very good, like that's the best way to do it. This is decent. Like, I'm even gonna say like this is better than reg. Like, this ain't no fucking brick weed, but it's still pretty goddamn cheap. I should have cleaned the bowl. Oh, let me update you guys on what's going on with Jackson Hinkle. I can't get a hold of him. I've tried and tried. You guys might say, Jackson Hinkle, what? I'm clout chasing. This year has been about making the Troll Patrol bigger, and we've done good thus far. So, like, I'm clout chasing. So, I was in Jackson Hinkle's Discord earlier today, and I said, hey guys, I've been trying to get a hold of Jackson. I'm a shitlib with a YouTube show, and I would like Daddy Jackson to own me in a debate to increase my views. He only debates up. Okay, that makes sense. Well, I figured, like, if he owns me, like, it's an easy own, right? He's afraid of getting owned by somebody like me making a name off of him, which is my intention. I want to own him. So the dude says, oh, you got to rank up in here. Also, if you win a debate against Mink Flow. So, I mean, like, how do I debate this Mink Flow guy? Come on. Oh, he will chew you up. No worries. He is in here. Would he like to come on my show? Mink Flow here never acknowledged me. I don't know. I cut it off. But I swear he never acknowledged me, and I didn't cut it off on purpose. It's just but they went back to talking about Ukraine and Nazis in Ukraine and shit. And I'm still like, Mink Flow, my dude, I'm here. But after I said that right there, banned, booted from the server. So he would rather lose to Walsh and Sam Cedar and claim victory than to try to go after a smaller YouTuber and actually like try to score a win, which, I mean, he wouldn't get a win on me. He's not getting ratioed by his dad. That is hilarious. So I've sent him messages on Twitter. I pull up my Twitter messages here for you, but I'd be afraid, like, you know, I've probably sent, you know, messages to people I don't want you guys to see. Okay, it's mainly spam. Oh, and you don't even see the other shit anyway. Like, here you go. This is my messages to Jackson Hinkle. Hey, Jackson, I've had a few callers lately that, oh shit, I fucked that up, are fans of yours and Dore, and I think we've had some productive conversations. Would you be interested in coming on my show or having me on your show and having a productive discussion? Here's an example of a caller I had this week. Been trying to get a hold of you. Would like to see if we could have a friendly chat on stream. Went to your Discord and they told me I needed to win a debate with another guy, so I tried to set it up and they banned me. Why? And I've also, you know, publicly tweeted him. Got a lot of notifications, so I was wanting to see, like, maybe Jackson has responded back. No Jackson in my mentions, unfortunately. I want it. I want it. Charlie Kirk ain't gonna pay attention to me. I don't want Jackson Hinkle to pay attention to me. Let's talk about the Queen. Do I need... Hold on a second. I'll change it back to the 9/11 graphics here in just a second. Let's go for the Queen graphics while we're talking about the next few stories. I ran people off with that. Do we have some Queen fans? Find me somebody to love. Find me oh, wrong Queen, right? Wrong Queen. Here's Charles, King Charles, being a dick. Plebes? Move the shit out of my way. That's just good fun. Apparently, there were some fireworks on MSNBC the other day when Ali Velshi wanted to bring up colonialism. My man.
Discuss this. The idea that there were people, we just had an historian say that there are many people who are Queenists.
Who's that fucker think he is? The King of England?
They're not monarchists. They liked her. They're either bored with the institution or think that it needs to change or aren't going to be that into the next king. Give us your evaluation of that.
They just aren't into the next king.
Frankly, I think when you look at all the opinion polls, we're about 80 to 85% in favour of having a constitutional monarchy, whoever's on the throne. So I think this is extremely overdone, frankly. Rather, I'm afraid to say, as your introduction was, if we had given so much pain to people throughout history.
Apparently, the Queen is exempt from inheritance taxes because they don't want to erode the fortune of the royal family. I do not have confirmation on that. That's something I saw on Twitter. Do not hold me to that, but that sounds right.
Why was Charles chosen by every single Commonwealth country, many of which are former imperial countries, as the head of the Commonwealth? We abolished slavery.
Hold on a second. Andrew, are you really denying what I just said about British colonialism? Are you really doing that, Andrew? Are you really doing that?
We abolished slavery.
Andrew, this is not a propaganda show. Andrew, I need you to stop. I need you to stop for a second. I need you to stop for a second. Are you really taking issue with the horrors of colonialism, Andrew?
I'm certainly taking issue with your remarks about slavery, which we abolished 32 years before you did, and we didn't have to kill 600,000 people in a civil war over it.
He's got that. You got a point there.
That's fine. That there are people all over the world who were born in colonial countries, because when I was born, the British Empire still existed. That's okay for everybody to think.
Which country were you born in?
Kenya.
Right. And that the
I thought he was from India. My bad.
Only supported the appointment of Prince Charles, now King Charles, as the head of the Commonwealth. We've just had a fantastic statement from the President of Kenya saying what a wonderful thing.
And the President of the United States is going to attend her funeral.
And we're going to talk about the President of Kenya here in just a little bit.
The fact is,
and so why on earth do you want to concentrate on the negative things of an institution which is 100 years ago now?
I can read you my opening again. I didn't concentrate on it. I said that there are many people in the world, many millions of people in the world, I don't know if you have social media, but you should check it out, who don't think we should be celebrating the British monarchy right now.
Boom. Boom. Do you want me to give you an example of who is not celebrating but is wanting their shit back? They're like, now that the old hag is dead, can we have her shit back? Calls grow for return of crown jewels to India and Africa after the Queen's death. People in Africa and India have called for the return of some of the crown jewels after Queen Elizabeth II's death. The Queen died on Thursday at the age of 96. The crown jewels include a collection of some of the world's most rare and expensive gemstones. Two of the jewels people are calling to be returned are the Koh-i-Noor diamond from India and the Great Star of Africa, estimated to be worth about $400 million each. Their acquisition is steeped in controversy given the history of British colonialism. People have now called on the royal family to use the Queen's death as an opportunity to return the jewels. Can India get back the Koh-i-Noor diamond? Everything in the British Museum that was stolen, wrote one person on Twitter. Sounds like a grand idea to me. Another said, so when will those colonizers give us back that Koh-i-Noor diamond they took from us? A third wrote, Britain should return the Great Star of Africa back to Africa and South Africa where it belongs, or they will forever be thieves. Probably the world's most famous diamond, the Koh-i-Noor, and I might be saying it wrong, weighed 105 carats when it was found in southern India, possibly as early as the 1300s. Which jewel is it on this motherfucker? Is it that one? Is it that one? It takes pride of place at the top of the crown made for the Queen Mother in 1937. Oh, it's that one. Wait, there are two separate $400 million jewels on that one crown. There are two separate $400 million jewels on that one crown I'm looking at right now. And God knows how much all the rest, like, there are a whole bunch of other jewels in this crown. Is this motherfucker worth $1 billion? Is that an over $1 billion fucking crown? Man. Britain came in possession of the diamond when the East India Company took the jewel from deposed 10-year-old Maharaja Duleep Singh in 1849. They stole it from a 10-year-old. They stole it from a 10-year-old. It was part of the Treaty of Lahore, which declared it must be surrendered to Queen Victoria. The Cullinan diamond was discovered in what is now South Africa and was the largest uncut diamond ever found at 3,106 carats, which is a little more than 1 pound. It was subsequently cut into 9 major stones and 96 smaller brilliants, with the British monarchy owning a number of them. The Great Star of Africa sits in the Queen's scepter, while another stone known as the Cullinan II, or Second Star of Africa, is set in the front band of the Imperial State Crown. Okay, so the two $400 million jewels aren't in the crown. A lesser jewel. The stones that make up the Cullinan diamond are valued in total at $2 billion. The Queen also owned the Cullinan's next 2 biggest stones, which she had set in a brooch and became known as Granny's Chips. Brooch. The Imperial State Crown, along with the scepter, serves as the principal crown for the British monarch. Return the fucking diamonds. Return the fucking diamonds. Stolen from a 10-year-old. Well, no wonder this woman was out front of the funeral procession. I believe it was a funeral procession in Edinburgh today. Fuck imperialism. Abolish the monarchy. Woman arrested after holding abolish monarchy sign in Edinburgh. The woman was arrested holding an anti-monarchy sign in Edinburgh today before the Queen's cottage arrived in the city. What the fuck is that word? I'm not even looking it up. She was detained outside St. Giles Cathedral, where the monarch's coffin is due to be held from tomorrow after spending the night at the palace of Holyrood House. Moments before these places don't sound real. Goddamn British people. I mean, this might not be in Britain. This is in Scotland. Moments before the proclamation of Charles III as new king this afternoon, a demonstrator appeared in the crowd opposite the Murcat Cross. She held a sign saying, "Fuck imperialism, abolish the monarchy." Officers appeared behind her and took her away, prompting the crowd to applaud. One man shouted, "Let her go, it's free speech," while others yelled, "Have some respect." A police spokesman said a 22-year-old woman was arrested in connection with a breach of peace. ACAB means those cocks too. Apparently, God Save the King was met with boos during the Edinburgh proclamation.
God save the King! We therefore, the Lords spiritual and temporal of this realm, and members of the House of Commons, together with other members of Her late Majesty's Privy Council.
Stop doing this shit. Stop dressing up in your funny fucking costumes and doing your burial proclamation and your bullshit. Stop doing this shit. You're a grown fucking man. The year is 2022. Stop doing this shit.
And representatives of...
Look at all of you. You look like silly little elves.
Aldermen and citizens of London and others.
Stop being stupid.
Hereby with one voice and consent.
Look at this fuck over here. With his robe and his little fucking, I don't even know what you call that necklace he's wearing.
Charles Philip Arthur George is now, by the death of our late sovereign,
your feathered hat and your powdered wigs. Cicero, good evening.
And rightful liege lord Charles III, by the grace of God,
fuck him,
of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of his other realms and territories, King, head of the Commonwealth, defender of the faith.
God help us if the Republicans win. They're going to be dressing up in stupid ass outfits like this, making proclamations about King Trump and shit.
Do reign to bless his majesty with long and happy years to reign.
At least some people had the sense to boo. Some people had the sense to hold up signs saying abolish the monarchy.
Year of our Lord 2022.
Am I gonna understand Charles III if I haven't seen Charles I and Charles II? Just asking. All right, we are done with royalty stories. It is back to honoring the victims of 9/11 with funny graphics. Over to Canada. They have picked a new leader for the Conservative Party, and he is a batshit crazy far-right nut job. Canada's Conservatives pick a Freedom Convoy sympathizer to lead party against Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre. Am I saying that correctly? Do I have a Canadian in here? Might have to ask Hildebeest to give me a pronunciation. Pierre Poilievre wins with an anti-establishment pitch appealing to voters irked by inflation and COVID-19 restrictions. Canada's Conservative Party picked as its new leader a politician who backed the paralyzing protests earlier this year against pandemic restrictions and vaccine mandates, hoping his populist appeal with disaffected voters will be enough to unseat Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Pierre Poilievre was declared the winner Saturday, winning 68% from party members voting on the first ballot. Mr. Poilievre's campaign said it signed up hundreds of thousands of new party members, drawn by his promises to reduce the role of the state in people's lives and to roll back government spending and taxes that he says helped fuel inflation. Mr. Poilievre has frequently attacked the country's establishment class and their appointed gatekeepers, who he claims thwart entrepreneurship, stifle free speech, and violate individual liberties. He's also appealed to younger voters, particularly those who can't afford a home and are forced to rent or still live with their parents. There are people in this country who are just hanging on by a thread, Mr. Poilievre said. A 43-year-old lawmaker first elected to the Canadian Parliament in 2004. That's what he said in a victory speech on Saturday night. They don't need a government that sneers at them, looks down on them, and calls them names. They don't need a government to run their lives. They need a prime minister who will restore hope. I will be that prime minister. Former Conservative Party officials and political analysts say Mr. Poilievre succeeded, much like Donald Trump did, in attracting people who traditionally weren't politically engaged or distrustful of institutions and believe they are falling behind economically. Conservatives are banking that his appeal to financially struggling blue-collar Canadians can return the party to power in the next election. Throughout his campaign, Mr. Poilievre said the Liberal government's aggressive fiscal policy, combined with the Bank of Canada's decision to undertake large-scale bond purchases, helped fuel inflation, which recently hit a 4-decade high in Canada. That, he said, ballooned the assets of billionaires, the debts of our children, and the cost of living of the working class. I want you guys to give me props on the fact that I think I said his name differently each time, and every time they all sounded like plausible pronunciations. Oh, the far right is taking over, including in Sweden, unfortunately. Right-wing bloc headed to victory in Swedish election. 90% of the vote count suggests. When was this last updated? We might have a more up-to-date story if we do. Somebody throw that at me. The far right appears close to causing an earthquake in Swedish politics. The Sweden Democrats becoming the country's second largest party, while the wider right-wing bloc edged towards a slim victory over the incumbent center-left. Exit polls on Sunday night at first suggested a narrow victory for the Social Democrats and their center-left allies, but as the votes were counted, the tally swung towards the right. With 90% of the vote counted, the right bloc of 4 parties had a share of the vote, corresponding to a majority of 3 in the 349-seat parliament. The conclusive result may not be known until votes from Swedes living abroad are counted in the middle of the week, while the closeness of the race may yet complicate the formation of a working government. The leader of, once again, they have to form coalitions. The leader of Sweden's anti-immigration Sweden Democrats early on Monday said the right-wing bloc of political parties was likely headed for victory following Sunday's election for parliament. Right now it looks like there will be a change of power, Jimmy Akinson said in a speech to party members. But the prospect that far-right Sweden Democrats, who appeared to take more than 20% of the poll, may for the first time achieve direct influence over government policy marks a seismic shift in a country far better known for its liberal traditions. Even the ethno-states are falling. Moving over to Kenya. This is a wild story. We still don't know exactly who's going to be president, but it does look like it's going to be William Ruto. With tears and steel, Kenya's hustler president vanquishes his foes. We're reading from the New York Times, so it's going to be a bit of a, U.S. slant on the news. But I also know nothing about him to correct any of their bullshit, so keep that in mind. William Ruto built a career on beating the odds in his greatest triumph. He's expected to be inaugurated as Kenya's 5th president on Tuesday, and there he is laughing at his opponents. William Ruto wept when he won, falling to his knees in prayer after Kenya's Supreme Court confirmed his presidential win last week. The climax of a bruising courtroom battle over the results of a hard-fought election. I actually think I have that video, to be honest with you. You guys would like to see? Nope, that's Herschel Walker. It is totally not William Ruto. Here we go. This is the Supreme Court declaring Ruto the winner last week.
Kenya's Supreme Court has unanimously upheld the election victory of William Ruto as president. In a televised ruling on Monday, Chief Justice Martha Koome delivered a scathing judgment that swept aside rival Raila Odinga's accusations of cheating.
As a consequence, we declare the election of the first respondent as president-elect to be varied under Article 143 of the Constitution.
Ruto was declared the winner of the August 9th election amid chaotic scenes. 4 out of 7 election commissioners publicly disowned the results minutes before they were formally announced by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission's chairman.
It would be great if they didn't erupt in civil war. However, it's kind of a thing that happens, unfortunately. It seems cyclical. And it kind of has its roots in colonialism, kind of bringing it back to the Queen. Why they speak in English? Makes things that make you go,
While Koome did uphold the IEBC's result, she also called for reforms, saying the split had undermined public confidence. Nevertheless, she left no doubt as to the court's opinion of arguments advanced by Odinga's legal team. 2 affidavits alleging that polling station results forms had been tampered with were dismissed as double hearsay, and 2 others as containing forgeries. Another was described as no more than hot air, a wild goose chase. Odinga said on Twitter he would respect the court's decision, but vehemently disagrees. Ruto will now be sworn in as Kenya's 5th president. He takes the helm at a time when the East African country faces several challenges, including...
I believe we've heard the double hearsay thing before. I believe that was a ruling against Trump one time.
The helm at a time when the East African country faces several challenges, including billions of dollars in loans and the soaring costs of basic commodities such as food and fuel.
I don't know, okay, so I hear a lot of right-wingers complaining about, what's going on in the U.S., and yeah, it's bad here, but, I don't think a lot of them realize the rest of the world has it a lot worse. I mean, countries like Japan aren't having as high as inflation as we are. We're kind of in the middle of the pack when it comes to inflation. But there are countries that are having a severe crisis right now. A lot of them in Europe, with just like runaway inflation. And then there's a lot of countries that are on the hook to the IMF that are having a double whammy of inflation. Pakistan seeing the flooding that it's seeing with the inflation just compounds the suffering. Moscow officials urge Putin to get the fuck out. We're reading from the Daily Beast, so a little more speculative, but usually a pretty solid news source. So I do want to make that known. More and more Russian officials are urging Vladimir Putin to get the hell out of the Kremlin as Moscow suffered another series of humiliating defeats in Ukraine this weekend. Just one day after several municipal deputies in Putin's hometown of St. Petersburg called on the State Duma to try the Russian leader for treason, their colleagues in Moscow joined in and demanded he step down because his views are hopelessly outdated. The open letter to Putin, he's also fired another one of his generals, and like he only lasted 5 days or something after the other general lasted 3 weeks. It's quite possible, Mox, that they are to the right of Putin. The open letter to Putin from municipal deputies in the Russian capital's Lomonosky district started out by seemingly trying to let him down gently, telling him he had good reforms in his first term and part of his second. But then everything went wrong, the deputy said. The rhetoric that you and your subordinates use has been riddled with intolerance and aggression for a long time, which in the end effectively threw our country back into the Cold War era. Russia has again begun to be feared and hated. We are once again threatening the whole world with nuclear weapons. We ask you to relieve yourself of your post due to the fact that your views and your governance model are hopelessly outdated and hinder the development of Russia and its human potential. Though they could be to the right of Putin and wanting to just do business. They could just be capitalists. Like, you cut off our business deals, dude. Ho, ho. No, we like money. Though they made no mention of the war against Ukraine, their plea came as Putin's deranged special military operation next door took a spectacular nosedive with thousands of Russian forces fleeing as Ukraine's military launched a series of surprise counteroffensive and reclaimed nearly 400 square miles of territory in a matter of days. I actually have footage of an offensive. I didn't do a good job putting my notes together. I have footage of Ukraine preparing for the offensive. Also, be warned of Ukrainian propaganda. Imperialist propaganda. That's why the person who posted it was like, chills. Oh, God damn it. Chills. This is the Ukrainian military as they prepare for one of the assaults that was apparently incredibly successful. This was the Kharkiv offensive. They've regained pretty much all of Kharkiv. Oh yeah, good on them. But like, some of my predictions about this are coming true, and it's giving me a real uneasy feeling. Hopefully Russia does, fucking overthrow Putin. That would be awesome. But I'm not liking where this is going. Zelensky to headline U.S. defense industry conference. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will address U.S. defense contractors later this month when he headlines the annual Future Force Capabilities Conference and exhibition hosted by the National Defense Industrial Association. What up, cool kid? Zelensky is scheduled to speak at the event on September 21st, according to the program for the event available on the NDIA's website. Exactly, he's their biggest customer currently. You can be for the Ukrainian people without being for dumping money into the war machine. And this is heading exactly where I was afraid it was going to head. Watch out about calling Zelensky based. There are so many heads of state that came to power through seemingly populist revolutions and then turned dictatorial. People start doing the hero worship. Yeah, Ukraine is not friendly for workers. Of all who, like, a lot of idiot-ass, dumb leftists want to, be like, Ukraine Nazis, blah, blah, blah. If you want to level a leftist critique at Ukraine, it is highly unfriendly for workers. That's the criticism. The Senate Intelligence Committee is wanting a briefing on what the fuck is going on with Trump.
Come on, man.
Senate Intelligence Chair urges judge to allow a briefing on Trump Mar-a-Lago search. Democrats say clarification from judge urgently needed, and the mishandling of state secrets could have disastrous consequences. The Democratic chair of the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee has demanded that a federal judge allows the committee to be briefed on the FBI's search of Mar-a-Lago and the potential damage caused by Donald Trump hoarding top secret documents at his private club. Warner, the U.S. Senator from Virginia, said that there was confusion over whether the Department of Justice and the FBI were allowed to brief the Senate committee on their review of classified documents held at the former president's club resort and residence in Palm Beach, Florida. The FBI searched the property on August 8th, retrieving more than 100 classified documents. Last week, a Trump-appointed judge, Aileen Cannon of the Federal District Court of the Southern District of Florida, sided with Trump and ordered a special master to oversee the documents. The DOJ is appealing the decision, but its criminal investigation of Trump's removal of state secrets from the White House has been halted by that court action. We should get a ruling this week on the appeal. Coming up later on in the show, Trump-backed candidate Doug Mastriano prayed that Trump would seize power. A sitting congressman gave a flag from the Capitol to a January 6th rioter. We're going to hear from Eric Trump and Kimberly Guilfoyle from the Freedom Fest event that happened in northern Kentucky. There was another conspiracy event, some QAnon conference that was going to go on in New York that apparently didn't happen, and a dude's really upset, and I got his video. Officer in Tampa was fired for assaulting a girl, a young girl, might I add. A Tennessee school resource officer is facing calls for his resignation following some audio that came out. Plus, there was a sex bust in Florida that isn't what it seems on the surface. All that and more on the other side of the break here on the Troll Patrol Live.
We live in turbulent times. The media is full of deception, conspiracy theories, and fake news. Now, more than ever, it is important to ensure you're getting information from a source that's freaking reliable.
I'm Justin Mullins, and this is the Freakin' News.
Get a breaking or interesting story with a humorous twist in about a minute weekdays 8 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, and more.
This is WWE superstar and multiple-time champion Seth Rollins. Seth is one of the top wrestlers in the industry, and never in a million years would I expect that Seth would be spying on me, or at least following me on social media. You see, a few years ago, around 2015 or 2016, Seth started referring to himself as
Seth freaking Rollins.
Now, Justin, you may say, your name is Justin Freakin. That's not very similar. And you'd be right. But I actually rebranded myself as Justin Freakin after Rollins blatantly stole my gimmick. Before last year, I went by
Justin Freakin Mullins. Justin Freakin Mullins.
Justin freaking Mullins.
I am on film and audio, calling myself Justin Freakin Mullins several years before Seth Rollins. And if we take a trip in the Wayback Machine, we can see that I've actually been using the appellative since I was in high school. If this was Seth's only offense, I might let it slide. But recently he started referring to himself as
The Monday Night Messiah.
I wonder where I have heard something like that before.
I am the new media messiah.
I am the new media messiah.
Self-proclaimed new media messiah.
The new media messiah.
So, Seth, since you and the WWE are clearly paying attention to me, consider this video your cease and desist to stop infringing on my intellectual property, and issue me a check for a cut of that sweet merchandise money. Obviously, you and the WWE are big fans of my ideas, so maybe you should offer me a slot on the creative team. Anyone who has watched Raw in the past decade knows you could use the help. And if you're watching this video and you're not Seth Rollins, check out the links below to learn how you can contribute to my legal fund.
Now we turn to YouTuber Justin Freakin. The guy's, he's a formidable voice in the culture. Uncensored and unfiltered political talk and debate from a leftist perspective. The day's top news stories and videos with astute social commentary.
Not high enough for this shit.
All we're establishing is this guy's wicked sick aesthetic.
Right-wingers are morons.
You brought back the wrong kind of fucking cake, you idiot.
Guess I gotta thank Matt Walsh for introducing me to Justin Freakin.
Yet you're like, we'll pray for somebody. You think you can telepathically communicate with a deity, and you have the audacity to say somebody else has a mental disorder. For the love of God. I really am losing viewers to the Dragon Show, aren't I? I miss Spark. I'm losing live viewers to the Dragon Show. I mean, it's okay because like I'm everywhere. You can catch me on YouTube later. You can catch the VOD on Twitch. I'm okay. People not watching live. It's more fun live. Link to the Dragon Show? What? What? You're gonna leave me for the Dragon Show? Oh, there's a new House of Thrones. The new House of Thrones. Is that what it's called? Wiener, 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 wiener. One wiener next to another. Nice and soft, Not erect. I've never seen. I play my fantasy. Like books like that never interest me. Just like fantasy TV shows and shit like that never interest me. But like, I'll play that world. I'll go to Skyrim. I'll play The Witcher. I'll play Final Fantasy. Apparently, Mox, like it was like me with Dexter, right? Like, I'll give it a shot. I'll watch that first episode. It was like, all right, I'm back. That was me with Dexter New Blood. I'm like, all right, you sold me. This is good. Evening, Ida. I've already said hey to you. I love your face. My number count's lower than usual. It's okay. I'm not disappointed because actually my numbers overall are up everywhere. And like I started doing thumbnails for the live stream, and it's resulted in getting more views. I realized I can put hashtags on things, and I've been getting more views because of that. I mean, it's slight, but every little bit helps. Like this was the thumbnail for tonight's live show. Granted, I left off Janet Yellen and stories about global warming. Those didn't make it. I also did this thumbnail last night. I can be serious for a minute, Cicero. I pulled the Lance Storm on you. Please ask away. I'm packing a bowl over here. I like serious questions. I get a lot of silly questions, you know this. Oh, this is your third meme of the day? They say Bush did 9/11. It's a picture of Osama. Like, huh? Did they get a hate raid? That is the only time I've employed subscribers only chat. When I there was a night I thought a hate raid was coming. And now I know what I have to do in order to shut that shit down when I see the signs of it, in order to not get like booted for TOS. And that would be a reason to switch to subscriber only chat. And that makes sense too if they've gotten that big. Because, man, it's wild being in, like, you know, Hassan's chat or Vosh's chat, and they're going by so fucking fast. That's why I dropped by one time. I saw Vosh on live. And it was right after the Matt Walsh thing, and I stopped by and I said, hey, man, thanks for shouting me out. And he stopped the chat. Like, somehow he saw me. He was like, oh, dude, Justin Freakin, that's cool, yeah. So Vosh has been like super cool to me. I don't know what his politics are. I've been told I disagree with him on a lot, but he's been super cool to me. There's a hole in this screen, and when I put it in, like the fucking hole is right over the, you know, the hole it's supposed to be covering. You're listening to the podcast audio. I'm trying to pack a bowl. I can't get my screen in my bowl. It's really upsetting me. I like to say that the show is nonsense from here on out, but then when we get to the cop stories, it's not nonsense anymore. It gets serious again. And I mean, when we're talking about Trump, yeah, we're having a good chuckle and laugh and everything, but that shit's still serious. Me singing Jennifer Lopez while Kimberly Guilfoyle dances is going to be great. But here's the only thing is I can't remember what the song is that she's dancing to. because for some reason, every time I try to think of it, I get Waiting for Tonight in my head. It is not Waiting for Tonight. I'm gonna find out what Jennifer Lopez song it was. Did she have one that kind of sounded like the Ricky Martin song about the couple life? I don't even like fucking, other than Jenny from the Block, what other songs did she have? Why was she even a thing? Why was Jennifer Lopez a thing? Which, I mean, if Jennifer Lopez hadn't been a thing, we would have never got, you know, I am Jennifer Lopez. I love tacos and burritos. What would Pac-Man do? I forgot what I was talking about, Mox. What, steal my background? That's something Pac-Man would do. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you start watching David Pac-Man and all of a sudden he's got a TV behind him with like a fucking swirly fucking blue background. He's known for stealing people's backgrounds. Waiting for tonight. Oh, you probably asked about subscriber chat. Wasn't even talking about anything I was saying. Just over here, I'm just yeah. I need to do the goal things. I always forget to set the goals and shit like that. I've never had a hype train yet. I need a hype train. I don't even know what the fuck it means. One of these days. My biggest claim to fame on the Twitch has actually been on Echoplex. We had like 1,500, 2,000 viewers one time. Like we went down to like 800 at one time, but like took us like an hour and a half to go down to 800, so I was proud of that. Does Pac-Man live stream? I don't think I follow him on Twitch. Follow him on YouTube. I watch his videos every now and again. A lot of times I'm just like, I'll put shit like that on in the background that I'm halfway paying attention to. Yeah, I was there that night that I didn't even know that was happening. I just happened to pop in that night or something. That was wild. Maybe it was when we were doing Zeitgeist. I've been doing movie night with Dave over on Echoplex on Sunday or Saturday nights. Oh, he ain't gonna put together a show like I do. Have notes and everything, have a format, eh? I gotta put work into it. Fucking Pac-Man. Lazy, just like he stole Sam Cedar's background. Lazy. I'm kidding. I like Pac-Man. I like Pac-Man. I like David Doyle. He's really cool. I don't even think he's like in the U.S. Is he like Canadian or some shit? Dude, Shield an NFT game? Oh, that'll lose you some respect from me. I don't follow them. I don't follow what other streamers are doing. I don't like NFT will lose you some respect. Hey boys, you heard about some NFTs? Which Bolivian coup? Which one? Which one, Mox? The last one? One like a year ago or something? 2 years ago? I don't even... God! Was it a year or 2 years ago? I don't even know. I was doing the Troll Patrol, I think. Here's the thing about my foreign policy takes. I don't know jack about fuck about shit. So usually when I'm doing foreign policy, like I'm telling you guys, like we gonna learn about this shit because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm focused on U.S. politics. That doesn't mean that I didn't have like the biggest crush on like Benazir Bhutto in the 2000s. Now, come on. I cursory knowledge of what is going on in foreign affairs. I mean, hopefully I'm doing better about it now that I do the Troll Patrol. I feel the need to talk about foreign affairs. There's a good portion of the show tonight. I guess you could say the whole fucking thing was, because the Queen and then 9/11 was foreign affairs. It was a foreign affairs centric show. And I know you guys probably agree with this, like, fuck, it sucks Michael Brooks is gone. Because there's a man who didn't have a blind spot for foreign affairs and knew what the fuck he was talking about and was advocating good shit. Throw one up for my brother. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, it was years of listening to Michael before I became like a really big fan of Michael. Like, it took a while. I didn't watch when he was filling in for Sam for the longest time. I didn't watch the Michael Brooks show until the last 6 or 8 months. It seems like that's a common refrain, but like, time and time again, like, he had this different sense of humor. And I'll liken it to kind of like Mitch Hedberg. Like, if you've ever introduced somebody to Mitch Hedberg, they're not gonna laugh at the first 5 minutes of Mitch Hedberg jokes, cause your brain's not ready for it. It can't comprehend like the format. Like, it's something so foreign that you have to become acclimated to it, and that's kind of what like Michael Brooks was. But once you get acclimated to it, you're like, my God, the man is a wealth of knowledge, and he's fucking hilarious. Yeah, Mox. What a weird time for him to die. It was like in the middle of June or something, right after the pandemic started, like 2020. And for some reason that day, I had fallen asleep on the couch with the Majority Report playing. And I was like groggy and waking up, and they were taking calls or reading IMs or something, and I'm like, eyes, and that's when they ended the show. They're like, folks, we have to end the show. Sorry, we'll talk to you. And like, I like how much time had been going on. Like, wait, that wasn't the full show. I've been in broadcasting long enough to know like something's up. And I got really worried, and I think it was just like a few hours later we found out about Michael. It fucking sucks. Sorry to be a downer. Was he sick? Cause like, okay, like his sister played his last show, the fucking talk show they did where they did the right week. Yes. His sister played like his last day, and I didn't think he looked bad, but also I'm a horrible judge at that. I am a horrible judge of that. Like how like I showed Hildebeest, the people from A Higher Calling, and she was like, "Is that dude alive?" And sure enough, he had died like 2 or 3 days after that. Like, I'm not a good judge. I thought he looked fine. I didn't know any different. But some people just like, "Oh, you don't look good." Every time I would be like, "Oh, you don't look like you feel good," or something, like, I feel fine. Like, you think I look ugly or something? That's the response I get. Oh, wow. Yeah, Cicero, I didn't know that. It was like a blood clot he died of, though, wasn't it? But my God, what a gaping hole. It's like, I can't tell you anybody that has that solid a foundation on foreign policy. Like you can tune into like a Johnny Harris and get, you know, basic bitch fucking geography lessons and some social studies, but like you aren't gonna get the foreign policy analysis from anywhere that Michael Brooks was throwing down. I tend not to watch live, Cicero, because like usually I'm working during the day. Like if I can't pay attention to what's being said, like I'll turn to music, or I'll just have it on in the background. I don't actually fucking pay attention to shit. I love Mick. I love Matt Lick. I love fucking David Griscom. Both of them good people. Follow them on Twitter, on Twitch. I would like to work with those boys someday. I'm a big fan. I'd like to work with the Chapo guys someday. I'd love to go on Chapo Trap House. That's my goals, and I don't think my goals are outlandish, you know, here in this business, and I don't think I'm being too grandiose that, you know, in the next 5 years I would like to be big enough doing this to where like I can get a go on Chapo Trap House, or I can be a guest on the Daily Zeitgeist or something. That would be super fucking cool. That's all I want. That's all I want. Get to do an episode of Behind the Bastards with Robert Evans. That would be stupid fucking cool. Let Robert Evans tell me stories about some bastard I don't know about. Fucking A. I want to be big enough to debate Sagar and Jetty at Politicon. Other than that, I don't give a shit. What do you mean orbiting? I can't, I do as much of the social media fucking marketing shit that they tell you to do. I can't just go I'm a part of the Majority Report fandom. I watch fucking pretty much every episode, but like I'm not in the Discord. I don't interact with the community. Like I don't know Ronald Reagan, and I don't know Kowalski and shit. They're like they're a whole little clique and shit. I think I had made contact with Jeff from Georgia a few times, though. I think Jeff from Georgia used to stream. And I think I even had him as like a recommended streamer. So I think I have talked to him. See, that's what I need to do, Mox, because I go hang out with people after I'm off, and there's nobody to raid me. Yeah. I have thought that I need to go hang out more during the day, and perhaps when producer Dave and I start doing the Tuesday Thursday show, maybe that will help with that. I went into Tina 2's chat one time, and then I got into an argument with her about ramen. I think she banned me. Oh, bigger than Tina 2. Yeah. Tina 2's like, the same 10 to 100 kind of tier. What's up, Tones? Yes, I'm telling the ramen story again. My apologies. I can't believe she got upset over the ramen. There is nothing wrong with ramen. There is nothing wrong with her. What she got upset. I asked her if it was just plain 25-cent ramen, and apparently ramen costs a hell of a lot more in Canada than it costs here in the U.S. I wasn't being snarky about her ramen. I was asking, did you put anything in it? Is there vegetables? Or is there chicken? Is there shrimp? Did you spice it up any? Oh. And she got really offended by that. And like, apparently a pack of ramen costs $1.25 in Canada. And I'm like, well, I'm in America. We got shit ramen. Our ramen's probably predominantly sawdust. And you guys have a bit like, you guys have goes cracking jokes about it. So she finishes her ramen, and then she ends up saying something about, hot sauce is giving me the burps or something. She's like belching into the microphone. And I'm like, you said you didn't put anything in the ramen. You had hot sauce in it. That's what I was asking about. Oh, I haven't been back. I haven't even tried. That's what I'm saying, Merkin. Me saying 25-cent ramen wasn't some kind of an insult. Like, that's literally what it costs. You go to like a fucking big box store fucking and get a pack of ramen. They're like fucking $1 maybe for like a 6-pack. So that's less than 25 fucking cents. Yeah, she seems like she might be a little sensitive. But that's okay, that's okay, that's okay. I can be sensitive about some things. Enough about Tina. Tina's alright. Tina's alright. Like, I got no beef with Tina other than the ramen interaction. A little packet of oil? They have ones that have packets of oil? I just like it's always got the little packet of seasoning. You get you like a 6-pack of shrimp, you get you a 6-pack of chicken, you get you a 6-pack of that's all I've ever come across. I know they apparently there's a whole lot of other kinds of ramen that I've never experienced. They come in bowls, they come in cups. Like, Final Fantasy 15 taught me all about a cup noodle that I had no clue existed, right? So, I've only had the little, because, I cook. Not saying ramen's bad, but if I have ramen, I'm probably going to spice it up with, many other things. You've never seen that, Tones. Never. Not familiar with this fancy ramen. You guys acting all bougie in my chat. Oh God. We ain't even done with the news yet. Not by a long shot. Get ready for some Republicans to say some dumb shit. Pennsylvania gubernatorial candidate Doug Mastriano prayed that Trump would seize power ahead of January 6th.
Thank you so much, Kevin. At this time, we're honored to have with us Senator Mastriano, who was with us before. He is leading the charge in Pennsylvania. He's a state.
Merkin, thank you for reminding me of Parasite, which was an excellent fucking movie. Excellent fucking movie.
Senator in Pennsylvania, if you can please lead us in prayer.
Thank you. God, we come before you in Jesus' name, and we remember the promises of old. We know we overcome Satan by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony and not living our lives unto death. And we remember the testimony of William Penn, who spoke over Pennsylvania that'd be.
I just like... This is weird to me. People that do this, you're chanting an incantation in a public meeting, dude. That's what you're doing, okay? You're chanting some incantation to a deity that you believe in. And I think that's really weird. I think my position of being secular should be the default position. I don't think this should be a public thing. If you want to do this in private, that's one thing. But to do this in a public meeting is just so fucking weird. Battle Opossum, what's up? Happy anniversary, motherfucker.
A seat of a nation in 1681, and it was. We remember 1776, our Declaration of Independence, speaking God's truth and word over what would become the United States of America. That promise here in Pennsylvania in 1863, a new birth of freedom, that all men could be free, spoken by Abraham Lincoln, right in Gettysburg here. And in 2001, while our nation was attacked by terrorists, a strong Christian man from Cranberry, New Jersey, Todd Beamer, said, let's roll. God, I ask you that you help us roll in these dark times, that we fear not the darkness, that we will seize our Esther and Gideon moments, that we will stand in a gap, that when you say, who shall I send? We will say, send me, and not him or her. We will take responsibility for our republic and not waver in these days that try our souls. I know we're surrounded by wickedness and fear and dithering and inaction, but that's not our problem. Our problem is following your lead. I pray, God, we'll have the favor of Esther, the discernment of Daniel, the heart of David, the courage of Joshua, double portion of Elisha, the wisdom of Solomon, and then we'll
a little bit of Monica in my life. Oh, I'm sorry.
We stand on the testimony and shoulders of giants. I pray, God, that we will not waver in this time of need when our republic needs us most. God, you're calling forth modern day Esthers and Gideons, and I pray that you'll give us the courage to do so. We think about, and now Aaron and hers as well. We think about our elected officials in Pennsylvania who've been weak and feckless, and we've handed over our power to a governor who disregards the freedoms of this republic. I pray that we'll take responsibility. We'll seize the power that we have given to us by the Constitution and as well by you, providentially. I pray for the leaders also in the federal government, God, on the 6th of January, that they'll rise up with boldness. You'll bless these letters that President Trump asked me this morning to send to Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy, outlining the fraud in Pennsylvania. And this will embolden
rise up with boldness,
stand firm and disregard what has happened in Pennsylvania until we have an investigation. God, we pray truth will go forth in victory, and that your truth will go marching on. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Well, this dude is probably going to lose to Josh Shapiro in the Pennsylvania race. Fetterman is still going strong. Oz is not going to be able to touch him, it looks like. This is the Republican nominee for governor in Pennsylvania, and he has been disavowed by several of his party members for wearing a Confederate uniform to an event. And they have endorsed the Democrat. As for Georgia, I've seen polls are showing that Herschel Walker has closed the gap, that it's a toss-up race right now. And even a poll has Herschel Walker up by 4 points, and that seems absurd to me. But I've also seen that Stacey Abrams is not underperforming what she should be at the moment. So I don't exactly know what is happening in Georgia. However, I can tell you in Texas, Democrats hold an edge on new registration. So I'm holding out hope that Warnock still wins, because Warnock is such a great candidate. And this looks like it's going to be more of a blue wave this year than a red wave. But Georgia is also a tricky state. Here is Paul Gosar, or I'm sorry, Louis Gohmert. I get my stupid Republican congressmen mixed up. Louis Gohmert took a flag that had been flown at the Capitol and gave it to a January 6th rioter.
This week, Republican Congressman Louis Gohmert presented a U.S. flag that flew above the Capitol to a woman who was convicted for her role in the Capitol attack. These are photos posted on the rioters' Twitter account. Guys, what do we think? I mean, a U.S. congressman rewarding someone who was part of what happened on January 6th?
Just leave me 15 seconds at the end. John Avalon, go ahead.
If you want a museum piece for the insanity that has overtaken our politics in the wake of January 6th, this is it. And it's not just because it's Louis Gohmert. The insanity of a member of Congress giving a flag that rose above the Capitol to someone who attacked the Capitol. The persistent belief that attackers are victims if they agree with you politically because they tried to overturn our democracy and they should be treated as heroes and martyrs. That is a symptom of a sickness and a psychosis that is twisting our politics and our judgment. And this is one of the worst examples of that I've seen, certainly from a member of Congress.
I'm just going to add a couple of facts. More than 800 people have been prosecuted by the Department of Justice. Only 125 have served time in prison or jail. This woman is one of those, okay? A representative of Congress who was in the U.S. Capitol building that was attacked is rewarding a criminal.
Honoring.
A criminal. Yeah. Okay, and a criminal who tried to undermine our democracy, and so that's the piece that I think is just so stinging here.
I've heard so many people say that Halloween 3 is underrated, and that if it wasn't called Halloween 3,
this week,
well, I don't know where the music came from.
Gohmert presented a.
It's the Queen trying to sneak in here again.
Above the Capitol to.
You didn't catch my segment on the Queen, you should totally do that. Totally catch the VOD. Eric Trump comes under fire for claiming his father has done more for Christianity than anyone. I'd say he's done more to expose the grift that is Christianity than anyone.
Fighting for religious liberty, there's no one that's done more for Christianity than Donald Trump. No one.
Not even Jesus.
Fighting for religious liberty, there's no one that's done more for Christianity than Donald Trump. No one.
Why did you intentionally avoid news about the Queen, Tones? I did a really good segment about the Queen and the absurd amount of money in her fucking scepter and crown that needs to go back to India and Africa. We learned a lot during that segment. Just saying. The Freedom Fest? I hopped off during Freedom Fest. He was watching Candace Owens from Freedom Fest, wasn't he? Here is Kimberly Guilfoyle. I'm going to have to figure out which Jennifer Lopez song it is so I can sing it for you guys while she dances. So I've got to play just a moment of it so we can remember, because I've been trying to remember what it was, but Waiting for Tonight's the only one that keeps popping in my head. So hold on. Let's get loud. Let's get loud. Oh, I gotta not get a copyright here. Let's get loud. Let's get loud. Wait a minute. Is that DJ Khaled behind her? Is that DJ Khaled? DJ Khaled, or however the fuck you say it? Am I smoking crack over here? Or is that dude too? He's too skinny to be DJ Khaled.
Here we go.
Oh my god. She did a whole little salsa number for him. Oh, she's shaking titties and everything. Holy fuck. I'm sorry. I didn't hit the content warning for this. She putting on a show out here for Freedom Fest. And for those of you who don't know, you're not seeing a long shot because we watched some of this on Echoplex last night. There is like 50 to 100 people there, tops. Northern Kentucky is where it's at, but that's the suburb of Cincinnati, for those of you who don't know the area. It's in Kentucky, but they're in like the rural part outside of Cincinnati. And they're in a field, Morning View, Kentucky. It's close to where the racetrack is. Not that far from it. She's so into it. She's still dancing.
Hello, Kentucky. How we doing?
Oh, there's a few more people there than I thought. Okay, so the shot we saw did not have near that many people in it, but that was for Candace Owens. So maybe once Don Jr. came, maybe Don Jr. was more of an attraction. It was probably later on in the evening. So there might have been a few hundred people there. That's not that bad. I called it a state fair. Dave said that was an insult to state fair, that people actually go to state fairs. Here is what a fan who drove up from Florida had to say about the event, the Freedom Fest in Kentucky last night.
10:30 last night, and now I'm right here.
I'll be. Well, thank you for coming.
No problem.
Orlando?
Yeah, I leave in 10:30 last night, and now I'm right here.
I'll be. Well, thank you for coming.
No problem, sir.
You have a great day. You park up front wherever you want.
All right.
Yep, make yourself at home.
Thank you.
Wow. Look at that vehicle. Podcast listeners, I can't even like this entire SUV, and it's like a Cadillac, has a wrap on it, and it says Vietnamese Americans for Trump. The King something or other.com is their website. I mean, this entire vehicle is just like, I guess that's the woman, and that's a picture of her with Trump. And then they've got like their whole little delegation that they took to Washington at some point in time on the side. Kimberly Guilfoyle, she's got a picture with Kimberly Guilfoyle. Yeah, there's a wrap on the rear window. Like this entire vehicle. Yeah, there's Ron DeSantis because they're from Florida. There she is with Ron DeSantis on the side window. This is just absurd. You're not in a cult. You're not in a cult at all. You're not in a cult at all. So that was Freedom Fest in Kentucky, which seemed to go pretty well. You saw Guilfoyle dancing. Seemed like everyone had fun. In New York, there was a QAnon conference. Everybody didn't have fun at the QAnon conference. It was canceled. So this guy is pretty upset about his QAnon conference getting canceled. The event this weekend with Rudy Giuliani, Bernie Kerik, Michael Flynn, and Tim Homan got canceled by the venue, and all the sponsors backed out.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
I bet this guy is. So he's going to be a little upset by the cancellation of the QAnon event.
Okay? Tom Homan, Law and Order guy. These were the speakers I put together. And the freaking venue even said, you can't promote.
Oh, this is the organizer. We've got the organizer. It's not just some dude. It's the organizer.
Okay? Tom Homan, Law and Order guy. These were the speakers I put together. And the freaking venue even said you can't promote the event because of the perception of being political. Because Rudy Giuliani's keynote speaker. Are you freaking kidding me? America's mayor, have we forgotten?
As the anger is to help. Have we forgotten 9/11? We have. We've forgotten 9/11. We forgot Rudy Giuliani ever existed. I wish, dude. I wish.
So fired up, you have no idea. And then these woke, afraid companies that said they would be corporate sponsors.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
We will, Jordan. It'll be the venue canceling this guy.
Backed out due to it being politically perceived as political. Then you don't kiss my ass. Please, I need this to get to freaking Tucker Carlson, Hannity, Dan Bongino, Bill O'Reilly, Carl Higbee, Joe Pags. I need it to get to Russell Brand and even Joe Rogan. This needs to be discussed. 3 people, 3 members of this.
For some reason, I want to say it was Joe Biden that said a noun, a verb, and 9/11 or some shit. Oh, look that up. I'm curious, Mox. Is Russell Brand that said it? No, Russell Brand is. He named me. What?
Tucker Carlson, Hannity, Dan Bongino, Bill O'Reilly, Carl Higbee, Joe Pags. I need it to get to Russell Brand and even Joe Rogan. This needs to be discussed. 3 people, 3 members of this freaking club. We're having this.
I'm discussing it for you, dude. I played your little rant. I wish I had the whole video. I didn't know this wasn't the whole video. This is a poster for it. Oh shit. Oh, freaking members. Oh, there we go. I'm dumb. Man, I got nothing but like bummer stories. That's all we got left is bummer stories. Oh, the 9/11. The 9/11. God, I've had this story. Everybody has said this story to me. And like it happened close to me. I do believe it happened. Oh yeah, I've got the local news hit on it. I was saving that. That's on my Facebook. Let's go find that shit. You guys want to see the restaurant has apologized for their 9/11 themed menu. It happened in Virginia. A few hours from where I'm at. Restaurant apologizes after receiving backlash over 9/11 menu. Appalling 9/11 menu. Oh, do we not have a local news hit on this? Manager at a Virginia country club apologized on Facebook Tuesday after receiving backlash on a special 9/11 menu that included remembered teeny, Flight 93 redirect, and Pentagon pie. Does the pie come with a chunk missing from it? I apologize for those I offended with my 9/11 seafood Sunday post. Oh, I thought it was going to be like, I was hoping they had a video. My intention was to bring attention to that horrific day. Yeah, sure it was. Here we go. Can we see it a little better? Pentagon pie. 2977 chowder. Flight 93 redirect. Freedom flounder. 9/11 oysters. First responder flatbread. First responder flatbread. Didn't even offer freedom fries. I know. How easy would that have been? The Flight 93 redirect is just hot crab dip with a crostini. Come on, you can do better than that. Pentagon pie is just chocolate pie. What the hell? What the hell? With shitty $4 chocolate pie. All of this looks fucking like shit. You guys suck. The 2 tacos I had from Taco Bell last night, which I don't like Taco Bell that much. The 2 tacos I had from Taco Bell were more appealing than what's on this menu tonight. I had whatever, like their new, like, cheddar crusted gordita Chipotle thing. It was alright. It wasn't bad. I did not like it this morning. I did not like it this morning at all. Last night it wasn't bad. I think me and the housemate both had the farts. A pregnant South Carolina woman is struggling for the life of her baby. God, I need to hit the content warning on this one. These next few stories were a bummer, and then you get an animal video. It's a weird night. Probably should have done the Trump shit at the end. A pregnant South Carolina woman is struggling for the life of her baby as she serves 4 years in prison after verbal encounter. I'm sorry, Brittany. I'm concerned about you, but this is a different story right now. After verbal encounter with police during a BLM protest. So a South Carolina woman got into a verbal encounter with police during a June 2020 BLM protest. Brittany Martin was sentenced to 4 years in prison following the encounter. Her lawyers are asking a judge to reconsider the pregnant woman's sentence as she faces health issues. Pregnant South Carolina woman serving a 4-year prison sentence after a verbal encounter with police during Black Lives Matter protests, facing declining health. Marin was found guilty earlier this year of breaching the peace in a high aggravated manner. Charges stemmed from an encounter with police during protests in June of 2020. Rosado told CNN that Martin's remarks to police were along the lines of, "I'm willing to die for the black. Are you willing to die for the blue? This is just a job for you. This is my life." Hell yeah, she's passionate. Martin's lawyers, I think I called her Marin earlier because I think they had a typo where they left a T off. Martin's lawyers told CNN she wasn't physically violent or threatening during the protest. So this is some bullshit. Rosado and Martin's sister, Whitney Martin, told the AP that Martin was taken to the hospital twice in July, once for experiencing contractions and another time for going into preterm labor at 25 weeks. Despite being pregnant, Martin lost 12 pounds that month. The AP reported that Martin is in prison, was sent to solitary confinement and refused to cut her dreads. Rosado told the outlet that she saw scratches on Martin's face as well as a bloody eye during a recent visit. Yep. Good thing we can protest here, unlike autocratic countries, right? That's exactly right. I'm going to have to hit the content warning for you on this one because this one's got video. No, it doesn't have video. No, we have audio of the next one. I'm sorry. I apologize. There was video of this dude, but it had nothing to do with this. It was something else he was accused of being shitty about. Newport Richie officer fired amid allegations of fondling a girl in custody. Bobby Labrido, 43, was fired after an investigation into claims he touched a 17-year-old girl's buttocks and breasts while taking her to juvenile detention. ACAB especially means you, dude. A Newport Richie police corporal has lost his job after an internal investigation confirmed allegations of sexual misconduct raised by a 17-year-old girl who was in his custody. According to the Newport Richey Police Department, former police corporal Bobby Lubrito, 43, is not facing any criminal charges stemming from the allegations. I wonder, fuck! You fired him for it. Why won't you charge him, you fucks? That's why there's no good cops. He first engaged in inappropriate and explicit conversations while looking at naked photos of the girl on her cell phone before groping her buttocks and breast. According to an internal affairs report obtained by the Tampa Bay Times, the probe turned up enough information for Newport Richey Police Chief Kim Bogert to dismiss Lubrito, determining that his actions in this matter were in violation of numerous departmental rules, regulations, and departmental procedures, and that those improper and unbecoming actions have absolutely affected your reputation. Lubrito worked for the agency for 5 years and had no previous disciplinary issues, records show. Before then, he worked as a police officer, and that's weird. That's weird you say he had no issues before, because he has. That's weird. I don't know why I didn't put it on the list. I didn't feel that the video was relevant, I guess, but like now looking at it, like, why didn't I include it? So this was him like 2 years ago, hassling black youth asking for ID when they clearly look barely old enough to even hold permits. Lubrito and his officer proceed to violently arrest the minor filming after what he asked what he's being arrested for with no response. This is in 2020.
Give me your guys. You guys have ID on you? No. All right, well, we'll get your information. Get off your phone.
For what?
Give me your information.
I need to be on the phone.
Okay. I need your information right one more time, and after that, you be put on arrest. Let me get your information. What's your name?
What have we done?
Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
What have we done?
Hands behind your back.
Yo, what have we done?
You ain't doing nothing.
Hey, back up!
Fuck these cops.
Back the fuck up! Yo, I ain't doing anything!
What are y'all doing?
What are y'all doing? What the fuck is you doing, nigga? Just tripping.
Listen.
So this video exists, yet you know there's no complaints against him. He was sued by the previous police department that he worked for by a disabled Aviado citizen for using excessive force in 2012. So that's Officer Lubrito. In Tennessee, a school resource officer is under scrutiny. I don't know that anybody has taken any steps to reprimand him. This is SRO Matt King at Smyrna High School, who assaulted a gay student who was apparently defending a girl who was assaulted, or is harassing a gay student who is defending a girl who was assaulted.
Are you a girl? Are you a girl?
I'm a male.
Are you sure? Because you fucking fight like a girl. Pull somebody's hair? That's a fucking bitch move, man.
Why are we giving attitude?
Fuck you, man.
What
attitude you give out there? You was
That's
like a
because he
fucking
touched up on my best friend over
Oh,
here.
shut up. It ain't your fucking fight. You know that. You know.
It's a cop talking to a high school kid. It's a cop talking to a high school kid.
She can't defend herself.
Apparently neither
She was coming to me crying.
Girl. God, please. You good? You good, man? Please anywhere? Here, we on.
Let's take him over
We
there.
are.
He's got it.
I know. We'll shut this girl. Shut the girl up in the office.
Fuck this pig. Let's get him fired. If any of you happen to be in Tennessee, if anybody watching this later happens to be in Tennessee, there's the link to the info to help get this pig fired. Meanwhile, they are doing shit like this. And man, I can't. This is Sheriff Grady Judd. I'm saying his name off the top of my head. I knew who he was by his picture. This sheriff's office is notorious. He's another one of those wannabe sheriffs that's trying to reach national fame through Fox News. Operation Fall Hall 2. Disney worker teachers among 160 arrested in Florida sex sting. Now, you might read that headline and you might be appalled because 160 people arrested in a sex sting in one county. Kind of a fucking lot. But this sounds a hell of a lot more like entrapment than anything to me. More than 100 people were arrested on prostitution-related charges following an undercover human trafficking operation. Weird they say human trafficking, because I don't think anybody was charged with human trafficking. A human trafficking operation by the Polk County Sheriff's Office, and several of them were from Central Florida. Among the 160 people arrested during the week-long operation were local teachers and a Disney employee. Authorities said they responded to an online escort advertisement and agreed to meet up for sex. So they may have found 2 victims of sex trafficking. I mean, good that they may have found 2 victims of sex trafficking. Once again, I've been to Orlando, Mox. There's actually a clip of me describing Florida. I think I do a pretty good job. I think somebody asked me about it, like somebody that's not from the country asked me about Florida. Well, there's some fun to be had in Orlando, depending on, you know, what you're into. Orlando up, flush it. There's a lot of fun to be had in South Florida. Orlando up, flush it. I mean, I guess you can keep Orlando. Fucking Mother Nature tried to flush Papua New Guinea. You like that transition? You like that transition? Oh, I bet, Mom. But I'm sure that's also just an issue of any place that has a lot of fucking people, a lot of foot traffic throughout the day. It's a tourist hub and shit. Have a lot of different people coming in and out every day. I'm sure that's just an issue with any place like that. You go like Mall of America, I'm sure they've got weird creepos in there all the time. 4 people were reported dead after the quake felt strongly in the capital of Port Moresby. You're seeing a surveillance camera, and this is the aftermath. Local supermarkets and liquor stores were left severely damaged. You know what? I don't know that I could find Papua New Guinea on a map. Is it one of is it an island? Make sure I know where this bitch is. It is an island north of Australia. A lot of work to get to that map there for you guys. God damn it. Oh, we're on Encyclopedia Britannica here. I lost it. There's the map. God damn it. Fuck trying to make it bigger. I'm done. I'm done. I'm hungry. Here's a baby croc. Here's a baby croc.
Cuban researcher Etienne Perez is releasing this baby crocodile back into the wild after it was confiscated from illegal hunters.
Liberar cocodrilos que han sido recolectados de cazadores ilegales es verdaderamente importante porque devolvemos al animal al medio, a vida libre.
It's a small victory in a bigger battle to save Cuban crocodiles, a critically endangered species, from extinction.
I'm not a lizard person, but a baby crocodile is kind of cute.
Endemic species that have the smallest natural habitat left of any living crocodile species. Scientists estimate that around 4,000 Cuban crocodiles live in the wild.
You don't always get a cuddly animal with this.
Uno de ellos es la caza ilegal, que es la que mayor consecuencia trae.
Sometimes I might give you an educational story like this one.
Pero también enfrenta otros problemas como los resultados del cambio climático y de la hibridación con el cocodrilo americano.
These concerns have prompted the Cuban government.
I don't know if I could watch a python
The
hunter.
animal. The sale of crocodile meat is tightly controlled by the state. Only crocodiles with physical defects or hybrid genetics are allowed in restaurants, but an illegal market can still be found in some areas. The government also protects virtually all of the vast Zapata swamp where the Cuban crocodile can be found. It has underwritten a hatchery program that annually releases several hundred crocodiles into the wild.
Aww.
This year's crop of freshly hatched crocs, still collecting eggs from their eggs. Veterinarian Gustavo Souza.
Mayo, junio hacen sus nidos, depositan sus
With
huevos.
May and June, Cuban crocodiles make their nests.
Eso ocurrió, entramos a los corrales.
Go to the pens and collect the eggs.
Y entonces colectamos los nidos. Es el momento más peligroso.
It's the most dangerous time and simultaneously
ya que el cocodrilo cubano,
when we must be most careful because the Cuban crocodile takes great care of its nest with great passion, and then they attack us. We also must be very careful when collecting not to hit the animals.
Se colectan y se van para un área controlada de incubación, donde están todo un periodo de 80-85 días hasta que eclosionan. Después que nacen, están unos días ahí y se pasan nuevamente a los corrales de inicio.
If you are watching on Twitch, you are heading over to Echoplex Media. Historian Matt, producer Dave, going to take real good care of you.
Hileras de escamas que son muy simétricas, que sí les lo identifica. Sobre todo su comportamiento es lo más que me gusta.
Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We will see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live.